And I want to circle back to what prompted Maxx Crosby to want out of Las Vegas, the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm going to go back to during the 2025 regular season. As the trade deadline started to inch closer and closer, there was some chatter about whether or not the Raiders, who had already declared themselves to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, would trade Maxx Crosby. And there was a big to-do about, the Raiders have brought Maxx Crosby in to tell him we're not going to trade you, and he doesn't want to be traded. No trade, no trade. Maxx Crosby's a Raider for life. He's not going to be traded. And I believed it. Look, Maxx Crosby was all in with the Raiders. But, it's like any other relationship that you have, whether it's a personal relationship, a professional relationship, you want it to work. You deal with a lot of stuff. You look the other way on things that otherwise would bother you. But it quietly builds and builds and builds. And all those past professions of loyalty, which were true and accurate at the time, can change like that. All it takes is one thing changes everything. The straw that broke the camel's back for Maxx Crosby was the decision to shut him down for the last 2 games of the 2025 regular season due to a knee injury he'd been playing with. That was a significant problem. Maxx Crosby spoke about it on the Let's Go podcast. His reason for being right now is playing football. He wants to play. He wants to be out there, even for a losing team. He wants to be out there playing football, and the Raiders took that away from him. Why? Why'd they do it? Why would you let a guy play all year long with a knee injury, and then all of a sudden, with 2 weeks left, why do you shut him down? Because they were tanking. They're never going to admit it, but they were closing in on the first overall pick in the draft. So they made the business decision to remove from the field 2 of their best players. Crosby, they're only 2 good players. Crosby and Bowers, both shut down for the last 2 weeks. Now, I think Bowers' injury was more real, more legitimate. Crosby could have played. That's why he was mad. He knew he could play. He'd been playing. Like, what the hell? I've been playing all year with this knee. I want to finish the season. I want to finish what I started. Got 2 games left this year. I want to play. So there's been a lot of talk about tanking in basketball, a lot more than there's been in the NFL. I think one of the reasons is the NBA season is so much longer. There's so much more time for the bad teams to come to the conclusion they're bad and then start thinking about other motivations that could maybe improve the team. And you only got 5 guys on the floor. If you can get a great player, it's 20% of your roster, at least your starting lineup, that is dramatically improved. So the temptation is greater. The opportunity to be tempted is more extended because of the length of the season, but tanking is still an issue for the NFL. It's less obvious. It is less noticeable. One of the big talking points for the pro-tanking crowd out there that thinks everything is fine. Well, no player is ever going to go out and try to lose. No. So you put lesser players out there. You put players on the field that, they're going to try to win, but they're not as good as the other guys. Let's get Maxx Crosby off the field. God forbid he makes a strip sack in a key moment and we win a game and we squander the first overall pick in the draft. So this is a tangible example of how tanking can blow up on you. Hey, hooray. Raiders got the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Tanking worked. At what cost? They lost the heart and soul of their team. They permanently fractured their relationship with Maxx Crosby. There's no freaking way this guy was getting traded unless he wanted to be. The Raiders did it reluctantly. The Raiders were backed into a corner. The Raiders didn't get what they wanted for him. They wanted 2 first-round picks and a player. They ultimately took the best deal they could get. And they kept him in the conference. It just tells you that the Ravens' offer was better than the best offers they got from any of the potential NFC teams, whether it's the Bears, the Cowboys, the Buccaneers, whoever. So, and that dovetails with something that Sean Payton said on PFT Live regarding tanking at the Super Bowl several years ago. When you introduce into your organization a strategy based on losing, you are undermining the culture. And it's hard to put that genie back in the bottle. Everything needs to be about winning. We are a program that values winning over everything. The Vikings are an interesting case study for what they did this past year. After they got shut out by the Seahawks 26-0, and it was clear they were done, they had 5 games left. They could have just kind of settled into the hot bath of suckery and gotten a much higher draft pick. What did they do? They ran the table. They won the last 5 games. And a lot of the guys who were there for that run are going to be gone. But you've got a culture under head coach Kevin O'Connell and his staff that emphasized to everyone, we're trying to win. And even with new players, inevitable new players, and we see that every year now in the NFL. Every team, every year, it's once and only once, and it's going to make – we're already seeing the changes happen. Trades that'll happen, free agents that'll leave, so much turnover. But that common thread of culture, and you try to find players who are attracted to that culture. Hell, there may be a free agent out there who's picking between teams and likes the fact that the Vikings went pedal to the metal when it was against their draft interest to do so. So, back to the Raiders. They'd still have Maxx Crosby if they didn't make an overt attempt to secure the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And, hey, maybe it'll work out for them. Maybe they'll take 1 and 14 and whatever else they have, and they got a lot of cap space, and maybe they'll make themselves better. But trading Maxx Crosby doesn't make them better. The fact that the Ravens were willing to give up a first-round pick for a player for the first time in franchise history, and they gave up 1, not 2 first-round picks to get Maxx Crosby tells you what the league thinks of this guy as a player, as a person, as a teammate, as a guy you never have to worry about, as a guy who's going to elevate your roster. Hell, maybe Maxx Crosby, in a conversation or two with Lamar Jackson, is the guy who persuades Jackson of the importance of being there for the offseason program, especially with a new coaching staff and a new offense. Jesse Minter made a compelling argument as to why players need to be there when we interviewed him during Combine Week. You need to, as the coaching staff, get the players to understand that there's something valuable that they'd be missing if they're not there. Crosby could be that key to getting Lamar Jackson to fully embrace the offseason experience. We'll see. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.